Okay, it's 3 in the morning, well past midnight, which means technically it is another day. So I'll just hammer this out at the same time. Um, this is a third potential, um, somewhat competitive, hopefully, list I've got here. Um, it's kind of a weird hodgepodge, but it is definitely like if you were to take a sweep across the Ultramarines Codex and all the new Primaris stuff, this is probably what you'd end up with. Or if you bought the no fear boxes, just a couple squads of intercessors and an Indomitus set, you'd probably end up with the majority of this, right? The 3 eradicators, 3 bladeguards, the captain. You'd have to trade around for the librarian and stuff, but you could probably acquire some of this fairly easily. As always, I'll put the prices that I ended up buying everything for beneath the video, just to prove that you can kind of get started for a reasonable budget. Here we go, same format as last time. HQs first, troops, elites, fast attack, heavy support. We'll go that way. Actually, I think last time I did the fast attacks after the heavy support. We'll rectify that. Captain, librarian. Interestingly enough, I actually haven't picked a relic or a warlord trade for the captain. Really kind of unsure what to do here. There's no particular benefit of applying the tactical doctrine to a lot of stuff. Right, these hellblasters are all assault hellblasters, and we are at exactly 2,000 points, so the chapter master is not really an option to give reroll ones at the start of a turn. Plus, it's only 6 inches anyway. So I'm really kind of undecided about him. There's still some thinking has to go on. Clearly, not as much thinking has gone into this list as the other two lists that I've kind of thrown together. But I don't think you can really go wrong with the captain. Plenty of guys who need rerolls here, especially the hellblasters in case I ever need to overcharge. They are assault hellblasters though, so overcharge. They're each throwing 3 dice. The chances that you blow one pretty high on the overcharge. It'll be a pretty desperate move to go for it. But in general, if you're going to overcharge the guys with 3 shots, you should roll them one at a time. That way, if you roll like 6 ones, you'd lose the entire squad. But if you roll 2 ones and a 6 with one guy, then obviously he can only die once. So it's definitely beneficial to roll those guys one at a time. But reroll 1's always going to be good. Yeah, that's it. There's really nothing to be said about the captain here. Librarian, pretty simple discipline-wise. I am going with Might of Heroes and Psychic Fortress. Sorry, I have to look over at my notes. Might of Heroes, extra strength, extra attack for core units within 6. That covers pretty much everything here. These guys are not core units, but let's read exactly what it says. Yeah, it's core units or characters. So we'll be covering definitely the infantry, the redemptors with extra attacks. I'd have to check on the hellblasters, but I would not be surprised were they core. Same with like the eradicators. I know the bladeguard vets are. I think that'd be generally good. Psychic Fortress, 5 up invul saves. Facing down, I think it's a good option in general. Facing down high AP. Not really much else to be said there. I could always make the librarian the warlord and go for something else, but I'm pretty sure I'll probably have the captain as a warlord and figure something else out there. Right, that's it. Troop choices, 2x10 intercessors and a 1x5 infiltrator squad, which again I'm still working on. Their sprues are right there. Right, but infiltrators, backfield zoning, for sure this time. All probability probably be combat squatting one of these guys, unless it looks like the bladeguard vets will probably be sitting on a backfield objective. Really a lot can go on there. A lot of flexibility. Again, people say that 10-man squads are inflexible, but we combat squad for free. There's really no penalty, and we do it during deployment or just before it, so I see no issue here. Yeah, 1x5 infiltrators, 2x5 intercessors. That will be our troops. Elites, 5 bladeguard vets. Super fighty, especially on the charge or being charged. 4 up invuls. Hard to shift in general. Just great troops. You might notice this guy's painted gold and has been for a while. The guy doesn't miss 4 up invuls. Even if he's the last guy in the squad, he will live forever. He's crazy, so he's a gold base. His name is Virgilius. He's my favorite. Not much to be said about them. Heavy bolt pistols, power swords with 2 damage each. Yeah, they're great. They're great. With an extra attack from the librarian, they'd be even stupider. It's possible on certain lists it'd be the librarian and the 5 bladeguard vets just marching up the middle. We'll see how that goes though. 2 redemptors. Neither of them have rocket pods. Actually, I have a little cloth thing that I can just like contact tape onto the rocket pods for the lists that don't actually include them, just to save on points. But both of them with onslaughts, that 5 points is definitely worth it. One with heavy onslaught gatling, one with macroplasma incinerator. I do have a lot of high AP on this list already. The macroplasma is not wholly necessary, but I like it. For some things, might be easier on vehicles, a little higher strength. And it's blast, so against big infantry blobs, it'd definitely be helpful. That's pretty much the thinking behind that. Otherwise, the Redemptors, they're reasonably solid. I still think they're a little soft, but keep them back a little bit. Have the Bladeguard intercept things that fight. I think we'll generally be okay. Again, Wisdom of the Ancients might be coming in, especially for reroll 1s to wound or hit. That's all stuff that would have to be determined through a little more playtesting, which one I'd prefer, but both options are always on the table. Transhuman always available on the troops and the Bladeguard vets in the back, and, well, everything. Just something to keep in mind. That's it for elites. Moving on to fast attack, it's 2x3 Inceptors. Still going to bolters, not just because I'm poor and I can't afford the guy to get the actual kit so I can give him plasma arms, but I like the bolters. I have a lot of AP already in this army. I just am looking for volume of shots. 18 shots out of each squad. I think it's pretty great. Strength 5, again, they will be wounding those new orc toughness 5 guys on 4s. So pretty good compared to the strength 4 bolters I got up here up front. Still benefit from them extra AP -1 from Tactical Doctrine because they are assault weapons. So it's strength 5, AP -1, 1 damage, but we'll go up to AP -2. I think they're really great. No complaints about them. They are Gravis, right? They have that unique Gravis fighting strat. I will look it up and put it below the video. But I have used it multiple times with them, and they have proven extremely effective. Really love the Inceptors with the bolters. Could not ask for any more effectiveness out of them, especially for 120 points. 40 points a model is a lot, but they fight well, they survive, they're Gravis, so they have some extra wounds. Transhuman is definitely going to be worth it on them. Yeah, just all around great. I know these guys are pretty expensive to put Transhuman on. Honestly, if they're targeting your intercessors over targeting things like the Redemptors, the Bladeguard, the Inceptors, the hellblasters especially, they're going to run into the problems of their own. But that's it for fast attack. Moving on to heavy support. Last thing, it's 2x5 hellblasters with assault, assault, plasma incinerators, and 1 unit of 3 eradicators with the heavy melta guns. I think the heavy melta guns are better. Those are the ones that are D6 plus 2 by default. You go up to D6 plus 4 in half range. Definitely, if put close enough, will just obliterate any vehicle. Also, they fire twice, provided that they don't advance. Really great. So we'll be seeing 6 shots out of them a turn. If they move, it's -1, but in the second and third turn in Tactical Doctrine, they don't suffer -1. So just great all the way around. Strength 8, AP -4, 6 shots. Hitting on 3s, possibly rerolling 1s. I definitely think it'd be worth keeping them within aura range. 24 inches is a little far, but, they're definitely good on the defensive focus, as are pretty much all of these units. I have scored, 8 wounds against the Democarian charging with defensive focus using just hellblasters and a squad of 3 eradicators before. That's great hitting on 6s, right? So, that's that as with the eradicators. Assault hellblasters, again, hitting on 3s. I touched on earlier, overcharging them because they are 3 shots each is pretty risky. It's definitely worth rolling them 1 at a time, even if it runs out part of your shot clock. But the 3 extra shots for volume are definitely worth it. They're still strength 6 shots. Really, there are no infantry that it won't chew through. At least you'll be hitting vehicles on 5s instead of 4s for the most part. Or, I'm sorry, on 5s instead of 6s or something like that, or if it's a strength 8. Right, these guys would be doing 6s. And then a lot of toughness 3 infantry. Obviously, you wound on 2s there. I just think the volume of shots is much better. They don't benefit from the bolter discipline rapid fire because obviously they're not bolter weapons. So to get 2 shots out of the regular incinerators, you'd have to be in half range. I've seen a lot of arguments for heavy plasma incinerators, but again, 1, I'm poor. 2, they don't come in any kits except for the Hellblaster kit, which, clearly we're avoiding here. All these guys pop out of box sets, except for the Redemptors and the Librarian. That is pretty much the list. Secondary scoring-wise, a little dubious on this one. I'm actually thinking about Stranglehold and engage on all fronts, things like that. The Bladeguard veterans, if they have to leave the backfield because you combat squad some intercessors to hold the intercessors and the infiltrators to hold backfield objectives, right? Poor infiltrators not here. Then you got to push something forward. The Bladeguard vets would push forward with, some good confidence, especially if they're backed up by a Redemptor or the Eradicator squad, something like that. Definitely would be easy to put onto a third table quarter, and then you could always reinforce them with fast-moving Inceptors or something along those lines. I think Stranglehold would be good. Reasonably killy if you're facing down a lot of toughness 3 things, especially with the 3 shots from the Hellblasters. I would definitely take something like Bring It Down, or whichever one is for non-monster vehicles. Facing a lot of vehicles, unfortunately, it's going to look like you have to get a lot of overcharging in. Those Eradicators are really going to pull their weight. Personally, I think Hellblasters are actually terrible. 165 points for 15 shots. Strength 6, hitting on 3s. I'd really rather have a couple more Eradicators, or a 5-man Eradicator squad, something like that with heavy meltas, or a 3-man with heavy meltas, for that matter. It's 135 plus 15. It's 150. Honestly, I'd rather have that. It feels a lot more secure, and you definitely have no chance of blowing them up, and they come with strength 8 weapons. But the Hellblasters here, just for volume of shots, something to kind of keep going with to avoid the criticism that I like to go too heavy on elite choices, like elite infantry, who don't put out too many shots. Yeah, there's not much else to say about them. Oath of Moment, definitely looking like a pickup for this army. Don't really know what else would happen there. Raise the Banners would be fine. I guess it'd be fine for the last army as well. Retrieve Octarius Data, you got 2 fast attacks, got plenty of infantry. I don't see a problem with getting that going. I'm sure you could get 4. You could go for Psychic, Warp Ritual, get the Librarian to the center. If he's pushing up with the Bladeguards already, covering them up, extra strength, extra attacks, right, you might as well use his second cast, pop, pop Warp Ritual. I think it goes off on like a 3 or something ridiculously easy. And that's just points. He's pretty hard to shift. He's got plenty of wounds. He attacks pretty well. Obviously, he's got that sword. It might be worth picking up. Of course, you can't go Abhor the Witch like you could with my other 2 lists. I think you got options here for sure. Establish a good base of fire. You got 20 intercessors and 10 Hellblasters at your disposal. That's why am I having a hard time with this? That's 40 bolter shots and 30 strength 6 plasma shots. You should be able to shoot someone's infantry just straight off the board, or whatever you can see, as long as it's not a toughness 5 or higher vehicle, or orcs or something like that. And then, move the Librarian up, take the center, Oath of Moment pretty early. Yeah, all sorts of stuff you can do here. This one ran kind of long, even though it's a shorter, more simple list, but that's it.